y'all, and welcome back to the Reality Kingdom for the occasionally recaps or whatever.
Very occasional.
Very, very occasional. And y'all, what is going on?
Yeah, the fees are down. It's been about 18 going on 19, maybe 24 hours. Are we in Canada? Has our zip code changed? What's tea? Are we getting digital dailies? What's happening?
They're giving occasional live feeds.
That's the tea.
It's like, what the hell?
Not 24/7. Occasionally live feeds. Like, it's crazy.
We'll get to the gags. We'll get to the speculation of it all. But first, let's talk about what was going on the feeds when they were on.
Because I just want to say, not to connect it to Kirsten, but ever since Kirsten left, the feeds have been boring. I don't know.
No, that's Tia.
I don't know. Maybe she should have stayed. Maybe it would have stayed a little bit more interesting. This week has been very, very kind of milquetoast a little bit. I haven't been gagged. Like,
honestly,
really gagged me. The house was split. It was an interesting dynamic. And then Hysum won, and it's been, like I said, not fun no more. I think it just kind of needs that little back and forth a little bit. So hopefully the other side can catch a win, because I want to see, some dynamicness. I don't want to see one side just steamroll. Now, if Suri gets to end and win, in retrospect, I'll be okay with it. But I don't want to just see it. I want to live through
it. Boom. So, like Lee said, Hysum won the HOH. And very quickly, we kind of realized, he kind of told everybody who his targets were. One being Riley, period. So, he wanted Riley out. He said, if Riley can't go, Cameron got to go. So those are going to be his nominees. He said, fuck it, I'm nominating them. And if one of them comes off, I'm putting up the other white person on that side of the house. Man. And he quite literally said it. I'm sorry.
That's basically how he feels. Because if the girls don't know, he had a conversation with Jag. And he's basically telling him, like, I don't want any brown on brown crime. That's a big thing for him. He mentions, like, morality and integrity, and he just does not want to put up someone that he feels like he has a commonality to. And in that sense, with Jag, it's them being both brown boys. And then he also doesn't want to put up Blue at first because she's queer. He also has a conversation with America where he mentions, like, he doesn't want to do brown on brown crime because she's Latina. So he's basically talking to whites. He said they gotta go.
Yeah, he did. So he initially wants to target Riley, then Cameron. Matt is a backup renom, but Matt's not going home. It's going to be either Riley, and then one wins veto. Cameron will go home if Riley wins veto. So then he started having 101s.
Crazy 101s.
It's giving. I don't know if y'all seen Game of Thrones. It's just giving. He has the throne, and they're playing the game.
I like how calm it is, because okay, I'm Hysum. I'm talking to you. You're Pharaoh.
Okay,
and he's just like, well, so people have been saying that you're working with Riley, Jag, and America. Is that correct?
Well, I'm not. Those are my friends.
Well, it's a named alliance, actually. I've been told it's a handful. So you are working together. Is that true?
Well, I'm not sure of the name.
Like, he was grilling these people. It was giving, we need your last four. We need your mother's maiden name. What's your height on your driver's license? A previous address.
And he said he was going to do it down. He was gagging. He was telling his alliance. He's like, yeah, I'm going to eat them up. Like, I'm really going to just eat them up, really. And that's what he's been doing all week.
Because he called out Jag to his face.
He did it to America.
Matt. He did it to America. Like, he was very, very open. And I'm just curious as to see, because this is what I was saying off the podcast. Like, when he's speaking to them, he's being very open. He's saying, like, I don't believe in backdooring. I want to give people a fair shot. And, as I mentioned earlier, he is saying about Blue, I don't want to put up a queer person. Jag, I don't want to put up a brown person. I'm just wondering, does he expect that to be reciprocated? Like, Hysum, at this point, you've been proven to be a comp beast. Like, it's not giving someone's going to nominate you outright. If they want you out, you have to be backdoored at this point, because Hysum is going to win veto. So it's just like, I hope that he's not saying this expecting them to be loyal to that. Now, if he is doing it on a strategic gameplay, like openly trying to say, Jag, I don't want to put up a brown person, to make Jag morally feel wrong by doing it, and same with Blue, I get that, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think he does want to just play with this moral compass that he has, and it includes that. But then he decides to want to put up Blue by the end of the day anyway. So it's just like, I don't, like, you're kind of contradicting yourself at this point, and I don't know. Like, you just can't play with morals like that. You really can't.
Yeah, you got to keep it real cute. And he's not keeping it cute at all. He's putting it all on the table. He's putting it on the floor.
Putting it on the floor.
real quick. So he's basically claimed to multiple, not just Blue and Jag. He's told Sari and his alliance and all of them that he basically refuses to put them up a little bit. So later on, we see that they're thinking that they're not an option. They're like, Sari has a conversation. She's like, "Oh, Blue. He told me Blue's not an option." Mm-hmm. And then they're like, "Well, Blue might be an option." Sari's like, "But he said because of LGBT." And it's like, he needs to be careful with his words. If he's just gonna lie, just keep cute. Is how I would say. But anyways, he ends up having a conversation with Cameron. Mm-hmm. When he has a conversation with Cameron, I'm noticing this week that Hysum is more easily convinced than I thought, or maybe more easily swayed, because his target changes 32 well, his backup target changed 32 times, because after his conversation with Cameron essentially like builds trust with him. He's like, "Look, I know I'm with this side, but at the end of the day, I'm still supporting you guys, and I'd rather be on this side of the house, and that other side of the house is shit," and boo, because he talks about it. And after the conversation, Hysum is feeling a little bit less inclined to make him the backup target. He's like, "Okay, if Riley wins veto, instead of Cameron going, Matt will just go up and Matt will go home."
Mm-hmm. And this was really interesting because, prior to, going into this week, of course, no one really likes Cameron that much or whatever. And in his conversation with Cameron, he openly told Cameron, like, "You're going to be the pawn. I'm going to put you up next to Riley," because he feels like Cameron would save Riley. And it's interesting that Cameron is getting his own, like, weird connection that he forced with Riley thrown back in his face. Yeah. Because you made you guys an obvious pair for no reason. And now you're going up together. But in that conversation, Cameron, he kind of pivoted in a way. He didn't get upset. He didn't get angry. He was like, "Well, I understand. Like, you're saving me from a tough decision of, voting out my daughter," basically. Yeah. So he appreciates it. And I do think Hysum felt, okay, well, this guy can be workable. But I don't really think there's ever a situation where you can put somebody up and think that they're going to be 100% loyal to you. And Cameron has not. Cameron just outed his entire alliance to Flip during the week that they had HOH. You think he's going to be loyal to you? But heck, he's no longer the target. Even though people like, I think Sari would like to see him go. Izzy, damn show, would like to see him go. Izzy had a whole ass panic attack because she literally feels like she can't even be in the room with the nigga. Yep. So it's like, I feel like Hysum is not. I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to listen to what his allies want, but I think he has blinders on with Riley. I do. I don't think necessarily Riley has to go this week. But she did say his name, so it is what it is.
Yeah. I feel like he's doing too much with the Riley thing, and now he's doing too much. Let's keep going. Because after this conversation, he has more conversations, but the next important one is with Red. Mm-hmm. Because Red and Cameron have this little, I almost said Proud Boys. What's it called? Country Boys. Good old boys. They have a good old boys alliance. So Red knows that Cameron is someone who will protect him, basically. Mm-hmm. So Red's duty this week was to make sure Cameron isn't going to be the target. And he did a good job, because after he talks to Hysum, he's basically telling him, he's advocating for Cameron, and Cameron had already did in some good work. So it really is just double whammy. Because after Red has a conversation with Hysum feels like, okay, so maybe instead of Cameron and instead of Matt, Blue should be the target, because Red initiated the Blue of it all. My thing is, I don't know how this came to be. At all. Because not only, like, let's say hypothetically Hysum needed to go back on one of those moral things he had. Why is it not Jag? I feel like it being Blue is kind of crazy. He had a relationship with Blue way before anyone else.
It's based on something that honestly would just be morally, like I said, really, really awkward and contradictory of him to break at this point, because he's the one who's been basically shoving down their throats that because they share this commonality that he can't go after them. So turning around and doing this, like me and Pharaoh mentioned, like it's kind of smart that he has this relationship with Jag and Blue, because they will feel inclined to protect him, which I think they would be. But if he turns around and put Blue up, if Riley comes down, then that just ends that. And it was because in this conversation, Red was telling him, like, well, I've heard Blue say Izzy and Hysum too. So maybe you should consider that. And then he fully considered it. But it's like, at the end of the day, you don't think Matt would do it? Like, Matt is going to do what they want.
Exactly.
Like, you have a relationship with Blue. Like, and Blue, mind you, while he is flipping the target to Blue is talking with Jag about how she wants to win Veto and not even use it on Riley to show loyalty to Hysum.
Yeah.
So it's like he really is overthinking that. I think he should have stuck on Riley and then Matt. I mean, honestly,
Cameron.
I think Jag should be targeted this week. If we're going after like a big, because
Somebody.
he wants to go after a big power player. I think Riley can win comps potentially, but a power player, she proved she isn't that. Point blank, period. She just did it. She just did. So I think that the backup being Blue, someone that you potentially have a relationship with, doesn't make sense. If it's going to be someone you have a relationship with, I'd say go Jag.
It just shouldn't be someone you should have. Honestly, just stick to Riley. Just try to win the veto. Like all of the backup.
The thing is, you have a forced connection with Jag and Blue. You have nothing with Matt, so it just doesn't make any sense that it went from Riley to now Blue. But Red ate that up, I guess.
I guess it's weird because I thought he already knew that information. I thought he already knew. Everyone on that side said Hysum and Izzy. I guess not, but it's like, girl, get over it. Like actually, it wasn't that crucial.
It wasn't. And I was just gonna say, actually, he can't do Jag because of the Nether region twist. So Jared got second in HOH to Hysum. So he got sent to the Nether region on the feeds when they were up for the allotted time. He popped up on the memory wall. And side note, Matt couldn't even hear what was being said because Big Brother went out of their way to cast someone who has a hearing disability and refuses to accommodate him in any way. So
we never even got to talk about the eviction on the episode because a lot was going on that episode.
Yeah.
But during the live eviction, Matt, when he was doing his vote, there was a moment where he was just sitting there because he was waiting to be told to go back, and they're not even yelling and they're not letting him know they didn't accommodate him.
They should be
thinking very frustrating because like
why did y'all have thinking ahead, not learning from mistakes. Like if you're gonna have Jared speaking to a screen, it should be loudspeakers in the room. It should be captions. It should be something. Like it's just annoying. And I'm not shocked though because I've said this about them casting plus size people. You cast people who are older or who are plus size, and then you give them physical and endurance competitions. Yeah. So they've been not accommodating for the different type of people they're trying to cast. But it's just annoying to see, especially in Matt's case, because it's a hearing thing. And he just really cannot hear a lot of the things that's going on around him. And it sucks that they're not trying to, before it happens, accommodate for him. You would think in week 2, they would know, like, goddamn now. It's just crazy.
And they still don't. And it's actually ridiculous. So Jared comes on the screen, lets them all know the twist or whatever. Boom. So he chooses Jag to replace him in the Nether regions. And when he does, Jag is given safety for the week.
Yes.
And also something else with the veto draw, we believe, because after Jag is done in his Nether region, he chooses Bowie to replace him. He comes back. And when he comes back, there's like the feeds go off. And we think it's the veto draw. But when they come back on, everyone's like, oh, that was a shift in the veto choice, And we're assuming it's because of Jag's little Nether region situation, but we don't know what he did, what he changed, what happened for real. Boom. Then we get to the actual veto draw. The people playing in the veto were, of course, Hysum, Riley, and Cameron. They were the noms of the HOH. And then America, Blue, chosen by Riley, and Matt. So those 3 people who you would think.
And I feel so bad. I feel so bad because I think Riley did a really good job of getting allies that would protect her in situations like this. But they're getting, and this happens a lot. We see this a lot in Big Brother. The sides who's in the minority are not in power. They get scared and they start doing things to oust each other instead of protecting each other or building upon themselves. I think that's why it was so iconic to see Cerie's side do what they did. They were not in power. They didn't have the structure. They didn't have the numbers at the time. But regardless of all of that, they didn't feel scared of the other side. They still came together and built their crew to go against them, which shifted the power within the same week. And this week, you can see the opposite of that. Like, I think that they're trying too hard to appease the other side. Yeah. Like, Blue wants to win, not using on her closest ally, and her and Jag think they can get out Cameron, which is not impossible, but it's just, if that's your closest ally to someone you want to stay in the game, bitch, if you win, you use that veto. She's not a bitch. But girl, if you win veto, you use it. I don't understand that logic.
Yeah.
Necessarily, because at the end of the day, at least this is how I think. Especially in a season like this where it's split, there's nothing that she could do that's going to gain their trust to a level of them wanting to keep her longer than what she's already going to stay. If you use that veto, if you get targeted, baby, you're probably going to be targeted regardless. And she literally is now getting targeted. So it's just like, I think that's overthinking it. Like, you don't have to do that. Just use it, girl. It's fine. People expect you to. You're her friend. At the end of the day.
Initially, I thought throw it, but honestly, I was wrong. Don't throw it.
Yeah, now she can't throw it.
Don't throw
Like,
it, babe.
now it's
Like,
like
she
I,
was on
I
it by
wish
not
she had the
throwing it.
mindset. I'm gonna just win it and use it because look
Yeah,
how y'all already
that's
trying
what
to
it
play
is.
in your face. You might as well just use it, you
Yep.
know.
Because you was
But
gonna be
hey,
the
and then
rebound
Riley
ball.
would definitely still go in front of her, I think. So
Maybe
you know,
not, because it's already shifting. So,
it's getting
but
nasty. Yeah,
still,
you're right.
just use that shit.
I think so too. And then right before Veto, something small happened where America was listening into the comic book room area. It was Hysum, Sari, Izzy speaking. I think someone else was in there, but America heard Hysum say, without Riley, that side is basically bones, nothing, Kaya's, you know? So she took that information and she ran it back to Riley. And Riley, before the feeds went down for the next 24 hours, she was like, talking about basically trying to figure out what was being said. Like she wants to ask Sari about it. So America probably just blew up her damn spot because I don't see that not getting spilled or asked about to Sari and things like that. So I just don't understand what game America is playing right now, especially with that specific thing. But hey, we moved.
Child. So after this, the feeds go down for the veto comp and they never come back.
And they have not been up.
So Lee, what's going on in the Big Brother house?
I mean, anything. I mean, people are saying it could have to do with the Nether Region's twist, which I mean, I don't know how. I mean, from what we've seen on feeds about the Nether Region twist, it looks like it's dumb. So maybe there's more to it that we don't know because we don't have the edited version. But it doesn't seem like anything too impactful like they're trying to make it seem. The girls are saying it could be an 18th house guest because if you remember on the eviction episode, there's the little portal that pops up at the end, and Julie's like, "Where is everyone? Where is everyone?" And to me, the portal gave someone's going to walk through it. Maybe it's them going to the Nether region, so you never really know. And then the big thing that the girls are saying is that someone's injured. Someone posted on Reddit. Their sources are saying someone's injured and potentially in the hospital. A girl. And the only girls playing in Veto was Riley, Blue, and America. So the thing is, you have to take that with a grain of salt. It's definitely giving allegedly down because the girls just speak.
I'm thinking because what could the veto be? Because people were speculating that the veto isn't that big of a comp. It didn't seem like it seemed like it was gonna be something real cute and simple. So I'm thinking like,
well, that's the thing. They had feet. They had the backyard open. Like
that's what I'm saying. So it could.
I don't think. I think the veto comp has been done. I think it makes the most sense of unfortunately some type of an injury. Unfortunately, some type of thing that they're doing that they don't want to show us. I don't think it has anything to do with the game. It feels like it has to be something outside of it. But it's like, that's kind of scary at this point because it's like, I mean, I hate to start bringing up those rumors, but is the season canceled? Like, it is to a point to where y'all can't fix it because it's going on 24 hours. So it's like, what is it that big that you had to just cut it all out? Because the thing, when the Luke situation happened, if you go back to when the Kyle situation happened, when these big moments happen, they cut feeds because they also don't want us to see it or see the aftermath. So someone could have injured themselves. They don't want us to hear them talking about it. Someone else could have said something problematic, or someone just been ejected or evicted or expelled or medically evacuated, and they don't want to hear us. They don't want to show them talking about the aftermath of that. So I don't know. It's getting weird at this point because we've heard nothing.
I wish I remember how long it was with Christmas when she broke her leg because homegirl, when Jasmine did it, wasn't it like on the during the competition or whatever?
It was
on live. So it's like we saw a boo. But with Christmas, it was down for an amount of time, but I don't think it was this long. 24 hours?
I don't think it was this long at all. So like it's getting to the point where it's like I said, it's getting to the point where it's like, ooh, I'm kind of getting nervous. Like I mean, I think the season being canceled as a whole would just be like I think it would
be crazy. It would have to be.
But shit, expect the unexpected.
Damn, girl. We're gonna have to see though. Honestly, y'all, we'll see what happens when the feeds come back up. If they come back up, girl. How about that? And we'll just have to wait. At this point, it's a waiting game. We've just been waiting for 18 hours. We're just gonna have to keep waiting until the feeds come back up, or the episode tonight isn't gonna show nothing. So maybe the episode Wednesday. I don't know. We'll just have to wait for the feeds to come. To be honest.
Yep.
So, child, that's it. That was that occasionally recap. Tune in for the next one. Maybe we'll have feeds.